In this short video, we're going to run through the top 5 interview questions asked at Lowe's, and I'm going to help you plan fantastic answers that will land you a job with Lowe's. So let's start by looking at a question that always comes up in these sort of interviews, which is how would you deal with an abusive or angry customer? And there is a simple procedure that you can follow that always gets you good results on this question. So you'll score highly if you follow this method. So the first thing you're going to emphasize, which is so important and they absolutely want to hear it, is that you're never going to raise your voice. You're never going to get angry. You're never going to argue back. Then once you've made that point very clear, in your answer, go on to talk about how you're going to de-escalate the situation. And make sure you get that key word in. De-escalate is absolutely what they're looking for. That means that you're going to calm everyone down, you're going to get the situation under control, and you're going to get everyone just that bit calmer so you can have a proper discussion. However, you're also going to make clear that you're going to stick to the company's procedures. That if a person is aggressively demanding a refund, but the company's policy does not allow for a refund under those circumstances, you're going to stick with the company's policy. You're going to do it very politely, and you're going to do it sensitively and sympathetically, but you're always going to follow the company's policies. And the last thing you want to get across is that you're going to make Lowe's look good in this interaction. You're wearing their uniform, you're representing that business, and so you're going to make sure that you look like the professional in this situation, and the people around you are going to be impressed with the calm, cool, professional manner that you handled that interaction with. And so if you mention those 4 points, you will really score well on this question. The second question that always comes up is, tell me about the hours that you're able to work. And this question can be answered very badly, and I'm going to show you how to avoid those pitfalls. So the first thing you're going to make sure that they're aware of is that you can be relied on, that you can be there when they need you. So you're really trying to sell yourself to the manager by showing that you fit exactly what Lowe's needs. And they really, really need flexible people. So flexibility and reliability are so important. On top of that, here is some fantastic things that you can mention. And if you can mention these, it looks really good and it meets Lowe's business goals. So if you can work late openings, that's fantastic. They really need people working late openings. If you're happy to work on weekends, that's also really good, worth getting in there because that's a slightly more difficult time to staff. Talk about how your other commitments are taken care of rather than going on about how you have all these other commitments and you've got children, you can't possibly work all these times that are hard to staff, because that's going to put them right off you. If you can do the school holidays, definitely get in that you can do that. And it is much better to talk about having a preference rather than just refusing to work certain times. Say, I don't do weekends, I can't work in evenings because of all these big barriers that are going to be a huge problem and make employing me a massive drama and a big hassle that's going to put them right off, and you're not going to get the job. And the absolute key to success with this question is always focus on what you can do, not what you can't. So it's all about can. Don't talk about the can't. People do badly on this question because they immediately go, I can't work this time, I can't do Thursday nights ever, that's a total no-no. And it just puts the person right off. You need to show that you're meeting their needs in terms of staffing. If they bring up a time that you can't work, talk about how you can be flexible and say, I could do this under these circumstances and I'll really try to be there when you need me. So it's about preferences, not about refusals. Focus on the can and you will do well in this question. The third question, what do you know about Lowe's? And this is really a research-based question. You may not be asked exactly to reel off facts about the company, but you will have to show at some point in the interview, likely that you have a good understanding of their business. And even if you're not asked it directly, definitely get in some of these ideas because it shows that you've done your research on the business, and you can drop these in pretty much everywhere. And so the key to success with the what do you know about sort of questions is to start with what basically everyone knows. Everyone knows that they're this sort of big box retailer with these huge stores selling home improvement goods. Everyone knows that. Everyone also knows that they've got a rivalry with Home Depot, that's their biggest competitor. Definitely get those things in. Then start moving into things that only some people know, where they were founded at the part of the Fortune 500, that encouraging consumers to improve energy efficiency is a big part of their business. And then if you want to really show off and score very, very highly on this question, talk about things that just a few people would know, that show that you've done the research and that you work hard and you're well prepared, like talking about the founding in 1921 with the very first store that is directly related to the current business. You may see a different date for the founding, but you need to look into that. The actual first store was 1921. You can also use the phrase omni-channel, which means selling online and offline, which really shows that you've got a good understanding of the business. So do your research. I've given you some pointers to start on, and you can absolutely nail this question. And if it doesn't come up, drop some of these amazing facts wherever you get a chance, because that shows you've done your research. Fourth question, where do you see yourself in 5 years' time? You've got to be careful with this question, because you can answer it very badly, or you can answer it very well. I'm going to show you how to answer it very well. You're going to start with something that's believable. You're not going to join the board of directors in 5 years' time, so don't go with these ridiculous things, because it undermines your credibility and makes you look very silly. So you have to talk them through a sensible plan that you've actually thought through, and the plan that you present for where you're going to be in 5 years' time has to actually meet what the company wants. So the absolute worst thing to say is that you're going to quit Lowe's and you're going to go get a better job somewhere else. You're going to go to university and then you're going to do something completely different. That is not what they want. They want someone that is going to be really good at their job and is going to improve the company by being part of it. That you're going to make Lowe's that little bit better. So you can talk about earning +1. So look at the job you're applying for. Look at what the job one step above there is, and talk about how you're going to earn it. Don't talk about being in that job in 5 years. Talk about what you're going to do for 5 years that's going to get you the skills and earn you that place at one above. If you don't want to move up, that's fine. You can talk about being really outstanding in your role and being someone that people look to as a great example of someone that's fantastic in their current role. And a key thing to get in is do your research on what Lowe's offers and any training programs that they've got. And also at the end of the interview, ask about what training and continuing professional development, that's a great word to get in, does Lowe's offer. Now let's move on to the last question. What experience do you have that makes you suitable for this position? And I've arranged this in a pyramid. So at the top, if you've worked in home retailing, so anything to do with selling home improvement type products, talk at that, absolutely focus in on that. That is the best thing to talk about in this question. If you haven't got home retail experience, really go on about every single job that you've ever worked with customers. That's the second best thing. Coming in third, talk about any personal DIY. If you've done anything around the house, building things, fitting a kitchen, anything DIY based, that's a really great thing to get in because it shows you've got some understanding of DIY. And then you can just talk through all of the work experience that you've had. But the key to success on this is to emphasize its relevance. Every single job experience that you're talking about, you have to explain to them how it's relevant to working at Lowe's and show off all the things that you learned and how that makes you better in your current job. And probably the most powerful way to answer this question is to link your experience to the role and then add in previous managers' perceptions of you. So if you've got a good reference, absolutely go on and on and on about it. Show them that previous managers had a really great opinion of you and you were very reliable and they would, not want to have lost you, but, you're applying for another job, so they kind of have. But you want to show that you could easily go back to that job if you wanted, because that's a great thing to show off. And finally, hopefully this has been really helpful to you and you can work through each of these slides and see how to plan the perfect answers. Best of luck with your interview and thank you very much for watching.